Hallo und willkommen zu Now German. This is lesson 34. Hey Sie.
Hello, welcome everyone. Hey Gregor.
All right, so last lesson we talked about sie ist neu, it or she is new. And this lesson we'll talk about how to say how something is not something else. For example, sie ist nicht neu.
Sie ist nicht neu.
Yes, or you have some chocolate and it first looks very tasty, but it turns out it's not really tasty. Then you want to say, oh, it's not tasty, right? Something like that.
Yes.
And to do that is what our lesson is for. So let's look at our dialogue.
Wie ist deine Wohnung? Ist sie neu?
Nein, sie ist nicht neu. Sie ist alt. Aber sie ist nicht sehr teuer.
Okay. Wie viele Zimmer hat sie?
Sie hat 3 Zimmer. Eine Küche, ein Bad und ein Wohnzimmer.
Und hat sie einen Balkon?
Nein, sie hat keinen Balkon. All right, let's look at our words first. Wie ist?
Wie ist
Like how is? And then deine.
deine?
You're in feminine nominative. For example, deine Wohnung.
Deine Wohnung.
That's your apartment. Or if you would put it in plain language, nominative die Wohnung.
Die Wohnung.
That's just the apartment. And then you can refer to the apartment as sie,
Sie.
which is she or then it. We talked about it just recently in one of our last lessons. And then we have neu
Neu.
as new, and the opposite is alt.
Alt.
That's old. And another adjective is teuer,
Teuer.
expensive. And viele,
Viele.
that is many. And then we have a few room names. Some of them you heard before. Das Zimmer,
Das Zimmer.
that's just the room in general. And then die Küche,
Die Küche.
that's the kitchen. And das Bad,
Das Bad.
that is the bathroom. Okay, and a few more words. We also have das Wohnzimmer,
Das Wohnzimmer.
that's the living room. And der Balkon,
Der Balkon.
yes, that's of course the balcony. And then haben,
Haben.
to have, a very common verb. And nicht.
Nicht.
Nicht means not, and this is the grammar for today where we'll look at this word in a bit more detail. And then something we learned quite a while ago is kein.
Kein.
That is no with nouns. Anything difficult?
Oh, good.
Great, then let's go through our dialogue one more time.
Wie ist deine Wohnung? Ist sie neu?
Nein, sie ist nicht neu. Sie ist alt, aber sie ist nicht sehr teuer.
Okay. Wie viele Zimmer hat sie?
Sie hat 3 Zimmer, eine Küche, ein Bad und ein Wohnzimmer.
Und hat sie einen Balkon?
Nein, sie hat keinen Balkon. Be careful with this last room slash not room balcony. It's der Balkon.
Der Balkon.
Yes. If you say balcon, a balcon that is kind of a pole that holds something up. So that's why we can't say balcon. It needs to be balkon.
Balkon.
Yes. All right. And now let's look at our topic of today, which is how to negate something that is not a noun, because we learned, of course, the simple word for no quite a while ago. What is no in German?
Nein.
Yeah. So, for example, if I ask you, hast du einen Balkon? Do you have a balcony? And you want to say no, you will say
Nein.
exactly. And also, this is the last point here on the slide. We learned how to say no in relation to a noun. So, for example, the apartment has no balcony. How would I say that?
Die Wohnung hat die Wohnung hat keinen Balkon.
That's right, exactly. So these are what we learned previously, and now we learn how to say not something, and now mostly focus on adjectives. So, for example, the apartment is not expensive. How would I say that?
Die Wohnung ist nicht teuer.
Yes. Or how could you say the mango is not good?
Die Mango ist nicht gut.
Yes, exactly. Anything that you would like to say is not something else, you can tell me in English.
Mm, the book is not good.
Yes. How would you say that in German? Maybe you even know.
Das Buch ist nicht gut.
Yes, exactly. So that's how we do it. And you will learn later with verbs, we also use nicht. So nicht is quite universal, but we have a bit of a different sentence construction with verbs. So with adjectives, it just goes in front of the adjective, and that is how we do it. So, for example, that is not difficult. It's another word we learned, but difficult in German is schwierig. So, how would I say that is not difficult in German?
Das ist nicht schwierig.
Exactly. Makes sense?
Yes.
Great. Then we look at our dialogue one last time.
Wait.
Yeah?
So sometimes I get confused about if I should use nicht or kein. You just mentioned that the adjective, so is nicht always combined with the adjective, while kein always used with none.
Yes. So kein, and of course we declinate kein, so it's also keine, keinen, but kein is always used with a noun. Everything else is nicht.
Okay. Then what about if I want to say I don't go to the supermarket?
In this case, we will say, well, we didn't learn the construction with verbs, but we will use the word nicht
Okay.
because this is not related to a noun. And if you think about it, you can only use kein with a gender. And the act of going to a supermarket doesn't have a gender. Yeah, you can say there is no supermarket, then we use kein because then it relates to the supermarket. But I'm not going to tell you this German sentence because it will confuse you because it's a different word order. We'll look at this in an upcoming lesson.
Okay. So now for the noun, nicht is combined with adjective, while kein is combined with the noun.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Good. Oh, good.
And maybe one last addition. One nice thing is also about nicht is that it doesn't change. So you don't need to say nichte or nichts. It just changes. It just stays fixed because, of course, adjectives and verbs don't have a gender, and so that makes it a lot easier. All right, then let's look at our dialogue one last time.
Wie ist deine Wohnung? Ist sie neu?
Nein, sie ist nicht neu. Sie ist alt, aber sie ist nicht sehr teuer.
Okay. Wie viele Zimmer hat sie?
Sie hat 3 Zimmer, eine Küche, ein Bad und ein Wohnzimmer.
Und hat sie einen Balkon?
Nein, sie hat keinen Balkon. All right. If I want to say this lesson wasn't difficult, do you know how I would say that in German? Or this lesson isn't difficult because we didn't look at the past. Okay, I'll tell you. We can say, diese Lektion ist nicht schwierig.
Diese Lektion ist nicht schwierig.
Yes, and perhaps when you watch it, it's already a few weeks or a few months old, and die Lektion is also feminine. So how can I say it isn't new?
Die Lektion ist nicht neu.
Exactly. And if you don't want to say the lesson isn't new, but it isn't new,
Sie ist nicht neu.
Yep, and that's exactly the title of our lesson. So this is where we end it, and we'll see you again in the next one. Have a great day. Cheers.
Cheers.